I just wanted to share my testimony. So I was brought up in a Christian home, and we went to church. My father was a preacher, and it wasn't until I was 17 that a stranger at church asked me when I had put my trust in Jesus Christ, and I realised that I had to personally come to the Lord and put my trust and faith in Jesus. So I did do that, and that was at the end of high school. And then I started work the following year, and I was invited along to their social club at work. I was 17 at the time. I'd lived a fairly sheltered life. Then it was drinks after work before we caught the train home. And so this continued until, instead of getting the 6 o'clock train home, I was getting a cab home at midnight. And so then Saturday night, much the same, and I realised I had strayed off the path, and I decided myself that I had ruined everything and I had probably lost my salvation. So I decided to join the crowd and go on the Broadway. So I stopped going to church, I stopped talking to anybody from church, and initially it was quite a fun experience, which soon wore off because I was feeling so hollow, because I actually was grieving the Holy Spirit, because I had been born again. And through my own pride and arrogance, where I decided if I was God, I would cut me off. So I had gone with that. And so on it went. And people could say to me at 1 o'clock in the morning in the streets of Brisbane, they would say, there's something different about you. You're like a nun or something. And I'd go, no, never. And it was just at every turn, and inside I was so empty and so hollow, and I was full of guilt and shame. And this went on for 12, 18 months, I think. And then I became so desperate. And I said to the Lord, to God, I don't know if you will have me back. I just don't know. But I'm going to go back to church. And I went on a Sunday night, I went to the church where I had committed my life to the Lord, where I had trusted him, where I'd heard the gospel. I went back to those people who I'd cut off. And it was a gospel meeting. And I thought, good, because I need the gospel. And the fellow who was preaching, I don't remember who it was, but he preached out of Matthew, the book of Matthew. And it was the verse where Jesus is saying, come unto me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I knew that message was for me, and I knew God was extending to me another chance. He was extending to me salvation. And why? Because Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sin. And so in my pride and in my arrogance, I had taken matters into my own hands. I didn't ask God, I didn't confess, I didn't say I've gone off the path, I didn't say I've made mistakes, I didn't confess my sin, because if we confess our sin, the Bible tells us he is faithful and just to forgive us our sin and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So my wasting of 12 to 18 months was my own folly, because I was deciding if I was God, that would be the end of it, and I'd lost my salvation. Instead of coming humbly back to him to confess, I have failed, I have sinned, and ask him for forgiveness. And while there is breath in our lungs, where there's life, there's hope. Once we have died, there is no more hope and no more chance. So this is my testimony. It's a testimony of backsliding. That's what it is. But I do know that terrible feeling of guilt and shame, and it is as real as real. And the only answer is Jesus Christ. The only